Okay, now I have gone through and cleaned up my outline a lot. And so we can just look through it quickly, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to take that and use it as a way of going back to my introduction and outlining that part too. Okay, so as you can see, I have 3 body paragraphs. And now, next to my body paragraph, each one of them has the topic sentence for that paragraph. So the topic sentence for my first body paragraph is, Enheduanna led an interesting life as a poet, priestess, and princess with important public responsibilities. And then I've subdivided that. She was a princess and priestess. She had important civic responsibility, which is not spelled right. And C showed an important precedent set for valuing the priestess and holding her dual role of the princess. And D, she was exiled by a rebel force. So this is probably going to be my longest paragraph. And notice under each one of these, I have some more evidence. And in most of those cases, it includes a quotation. Now, when I finally write my essay, I don't have to use all of these quotations. I might decide instead that I want to paraphrase all of the information or narrow it down to just a few words of the quotation. But at least I've got it all organized so I can see what the information is. Body paragraph 2, Enheduanna wrote many long and short poems that both praise her goddess and establish her own personal history. The first recorded, that is the first recorded personal history. Okay, so I have 2 subpoints there. And then my body paragraph 3, Enheduanna was not only the first poet whose name we know, she was also a figure whose literary and political importance remain to this day. So then I have a couple of points underneath there, and they're not as well organized as I would like because I want that to say B and C. My auto format is not super great on this, but that's fine. Also, you should note that for many teachers, they think that if you have a subpoint A, you should have a subpoint B as well. And I understand their point for the purpose of explanation. However, I do not need that much detail in this particular outline, and so you don't have to have a B for every A that you have. Okay, so now that I know what my main points are, I can write my thesis statement, okay? Now my thesis statement is my main idea, including an indication of how it's divided, and it can't be a question. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write a thesis statement that covers these 3 main points. Okay, so I'm going to say Enheduanna was a fascinating figure in her life and work, whose importance remains to this day. Now, I'm just writing the thesis here. Remember, I'm not introducing who Enheduanna is in my thesis. My thesis is controlling what the 3 parts of my paragraph, of my paper are, and that's life, work, and importance. Okay? So, my background, I've already done this. I put a quote in here that introduced who she was. She's the world's oldest known author whose works were written in cuneiform. Okay, so now I need to delete a little bit of this. Okay, so now I'm ready to put in my hook. I need to decide what kind of hook I want. I can do a quotation. I can do a thought-provoking question. I can do an interesting statistic. I might say, for example, would it surprise you to know that the first known or identified, the first identifiable person in history was a woman? So we might put that, because to me it seemed a little bit surprising that our first author was a woman, given the centuries afterwards in which the writing was dominated by men. Otherwise, I could do some other things. I could do another type of question, like, for example, How old would you guess is the oldest recorded history? And then state, like, if you guessed 3,000 years, you missed it by 13 centuries. I don't know. So I'm gonna play with a couple of different ideas of how I'm going to attract the audience's attention. If I want to, I can go in and search for some quotations, maybe from Enheduanna's own work. I don't know, but for right now, I'm pretty satisfied with all of this as the framework for my essay, and then all I need to do is go to the conclusion. I don't actually really need to do this because I'm going to summarize points and put in a final thought. I need to write my paper before I get too far into that. But now what I need to add at the end of this is my works cited page. Now my works cited, I need this centered, and I actually need this to be on a new page. Dook. Okay, so now it's on a new page. This is a key. You're going to find this later. And here I have one that's just so convenient, you're not even going to believe it. It tells me exactly how to cite this at the bottom. So I'm just going to copy that and paste it right there. And then for this one, I'm going to start by just copying all this information. And then I'm going to come back later. So Binkley comes before Mark, so I'm going to put her right here. And I'm going to come back and put that in MLA style a little bit later. And for now, I'm done with my outline.